guys, it's me, Kelly. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we are going to be talking about the 26 books I would like to read in the year 2026, which is next year. So this is no means a strict TBR. These are just some books that I would love to get read next year for sure, hopefully some point. I did this video last year for 25 books in 2025, and I know I did not read every single book on that list, but it gave me a good idea of books to read or what I was excited to read for in the following year. So I like setting up this kind of list to have a range of things that I have on my shelves or what I'm interested in now to see if I can read them the following year. So I'm super excited to share the 26 books I'd love to read in 2026. So let's get into the list. Okay, to start off this list, I'm going to be talking about the new releases for 2026 that have been announced. Now, there might be more that are announced later or early 2026 that are coming out later in 2026, all of that. I'm doing what's been announced and ones that are either part of a series that I'm reading or that the description was really interesting and I would love to read it next year. So the first book on my list is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. Now this is book 2 in the Say You'll Remember Me series, and I have read the Part of Your World series as well as Say You'll Remember Me. I will say I loved the Part of Your World trilogy. It was my favorite out of what I've read from her, which I guess could be a little biased because I have not read the Happily Ever After playlist little series that I believe she wrote before that. But Say You'll Remember Me was not my favorite Abby Jimenez book. It definitely was a lot different than her other works that I've read. But I am excited to continue this little universe that she's created with Say You'll Remember Me. I'm not sure, I haven't read the description or what this story is going to be about, but I do enjoy Abby Jimenez as a writer. She is a local author here in Minnesota, so that is a fun little fact that I love just because I'm like, oh, she's local. I want to support her and read her books. So I'm super excited to see that book come out and hopefully read it, maybe not right away when it comes out, but maybe kind of wait a little bit. But we'll see where we're at with that. Because I didn't really like Say You'll Remember Me. It wasn't my favorite, but I wouldn't mind reading another Abby Jimenez book. So book number 2 is Throne of Nightmares by Carrie Maniscalco. I put this on the list because it is a new release and I have not read yet Throne of Secrets, I believe, which is above me. It's on my December TBR, or I want to read it by the end of this year. Hopefully I do, because Throne of Nightmares is coming out next year, so I really should read it. I have loved Carrie Maniscalco since reading the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I've also read Stalking Jack the Ripper, which is a fun little YA series she has as well. I wouldn't mind reading a couple of those books from that series next year at some point, because those I really enjoyed Stalking Jack the Ripper. I love her writing. It's, to me, easy to read. It's entertaining. I know it's not for everyone, but her newer series, Throne of the Fallen, is an adult fantasy book, and I have not read Throne of Secrets, so it's kind of silly of me to put Throne of Nightmares on my TBR or my want to reads for next year when I haven't even read this one, but we'll get there eventually. So hopefully I get that one read, which is, I keep pointing because it's up here, before this book comes out, so I can continue the series because I love the series. It's super fun. It's about Princes of Hell. How, like, that's so fun. And sometimes there's like a little mystery or twist or something into it. So hopefully I get the second book read so I can read the third book. Book number 3, I'm super excited because it is one of my favorite, all-time favorite books, getting a little bit more of their story. It's called A Darker Shore, Letters from Ketterdam. It's kind of like Six of Crows 2.5, so it's like a novella type deal that Lee Bardugo is releasing. I am so excited because I love the Grishaverse. It is one of the books that got me back into reading. I mean, I love Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom. That's probably my favorite from her. I also love Shadow and Bone too, that trilogy. That whole like universe has gotten me back into loving reading. So I'm so excited to read a little bit more about some characters that I miss, like Inej and Kaz and Jasper and all of my friends from Ketterdam. I call them my friends because I love them so much. So I'm super excited to see a little bit more from them, that we're not quite done with them, to see what's going on. So even if it is like a little novella or short story type deal, I'm okay. She is feeding us, feeding the fans of Six of Crows. So I'm so happy that she's doing that. So I'm super excited for that. The next book is actually a new to me author that I was really interested in their book, and I just saw because I was looking it up on Goodreads. The book is called The Witch and the Huntress by Luna McNamara, and I did not know that they are the author of Psyche and Eros. The reason why I put this on my list was because I was reading the description, and it says two of Greek mythology's most complex and powerful women, Medea and Atlanta. And I just stopped there and was like, oh, Greek mythology. I love Greek mythology. It's literally one of my favorite things. I am adding this to my list. Little did I know, she is the author of Psyche and Eros, which I have not read but would love to read because I love Greek mythology. So, this sounds really fun. It's, yeah, a story. They join forces on Jason's quest for the Golden Fleece. It's sapphic, so that's cool. I don't read a lot of sapphic romance, so that's fun. And I think the biggest reason why I added this to my list was it's a new to me author and it's Greek mythology. I love Greek mythology, so I definitely would love to read it next year. Right, next book is also a new to me author, but she is well known for What the River Knows, which is by Isabel Ibanez, I want to say. She has a new book coming out called Graceless Heart. I had not read any of her books before, but the cover is what caught my eye, where I was like, wow, this is a really pretty cover, which hopefully I have the cover up, of course. But it's a really pretty cover. It's a magical standalone adult fantasy romance set in Renaissance Italy. It's so fun, okay? First of all, what I really enjoy, standalone fantasy. There needs to be more of those, okay? Because I don't want to get into a series every single time I read a fantasy. So that was something I was like, oh, let's add that. Renaissance period, so fun. 15th century, super cool. I didn't read anything else about the description. I'm kind of looking here and there on my iPad right now. But the thing that drew me in was the cover. The cover is so pretty. And, you know, I'm one of those people who will judge a book by its cover, and this cover is really pretty, and I'm very interested about who this girl is and what her story is. So that's really the reason why I added this to my list. So Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez, and that comes out right in January, so that is super exciting. Will I read it right away? Maybe. Who knows? The next few books now are going to be books from my 25 in 2025 because I have to read them, okay? And I put them off for too long. So I brought them from last year to put them on this year, hopefully to prioritize them a little more this year, knowing that they were from last year. So, starting with book number 6, we have A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Now I know, I told myself I was going to read it. I told myself a lot I was going to read it last year, but I will read it, okay? I need to just read it and just move on to the next so I can like finish up this ACOTAR series. Even though I've heard rumors that book 6 is coming out. And if that is true, I need to get going so I'm caught up and ready for when it does come out. So I need to read A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm borrowing it from a friend. I've had it for like a year now. Which she's okay with it because she's read the series. But she's a little angry because she's like, dude, it's so good, just read it. So that's on my list, okay? Prioritize it next year. Another one of Sarah J. Maas's series I would love to read is Throne of Glass. I think I would really enjoy it. Just the premise of what it's about sounds really, really interesting. I am gonna start with Assassin's Blade first before Throne of Glass. I believe that's one way to read it. So I would love to read that series, get into that. It's just maybe I want to focus on one Sarah J Maas series before getting into another, or like mixing them. So that was kind of my issue, but that was from last year. I'm bringing it back this year. It seems like something I would enjoy. I don't know why I haven't read it. Maybe because I'm a little intimidated. That's probably it. Book number 8 is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Now, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this since it came out. I don't know if it was just because it's a little bit different than what she's been writing, but we also could just be really, really excited for People We Meet on Vacation coming out in January, which I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this movie, and I definitely need to reread People We Meet on Vacation because it's usually the bottom of my rankings, so maybe I need to reread it and it will kind of boost up. But since I've read every book by her besides Great Big Beautiful Life, I probably should, just to like check it off and say that I've read it, you know? So that's gotta happen some point. And maybe she has another book coming on the way. Who knows? I don't really know. So that needs to get read. I don't know. That's all I gotta say is it's from last year. I gotta read it. I don't know why I haven't. Maybe because I haven't heard a lot of things about it. So gotta get it read. Book number 9 is The Things Gods Break by Abigail Owens. This is book number 2. The first one is The Games Gods Play. This is also a Greek mythology retelling type story, and I remember really enjoying the first book because of that Greek mythology aspect. It's been a while since I read it, more than a year now. I want to say like a year since I read it. So since The Things Gods Break just came out, maybe like a month ago, I would like to get that read. So I'm ready because I'm pretty sure another book is coming from that series around the same time period, which is like, I think like November-ish is when it comes out of 2026. So I need to read The Things Gods Break so I can continue that series because I really enjoy it. It was a really good book, the first book, so I would like to continue it. And like I said, I love Greek mythology, so I need to continue. Book 10 is also a continuation of a series. It is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. It's kind of hard to say, Enchantra. It is from what's the first book called? I have it behind me. Phantasma? It is Phantasma. Wicked Games. That's the series I always confused with Carrie Maniscalco. But Enchantra, I want to read that because I really liked Phantasma. It was really fun and like cool, and I liked the paranormal aspect and the trials and all of that. So I want to read more Kaylee Smith. I know she's a newer author. Enchantra is like her next book. I think she has another book coming out pretty soon. Something, I don't know. I could be making up a rumor, but I need to read Enchantra. I liked Phantasma. If it's just a duology, that's easy to finish, so that's why it's book number 10. Book number 11 is also a continuation of a series, which I need to catch up on now because I believe another book is coming out in the series, and this one is Dating and Dragons by Christy Boyes. Now, I have Dungeons and Drama. I need to read Dating and Dragons, and I believe the new one is called Roles and Rivalry. I can't say that word. It's a hard word. Something like that. So she's coming out with another book in the series. I need to catch up. It is a fun little YA romance D&D inspired book. I love it. Nerdiness is such a fun little book to read, and like the first book was about like a theater girl and a D&D player who worked at a game shop, and I thought that was so cute. So I want to continue series. I love it. The nerdiness is such a fun aspect, especially with D&D. And especially if she's coming out with another book, so I need to catch up. So Dating and Dragons by Christy Boyes. And the last book that is from last year's list is Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren, which is also right behind me. This is like a Rapunzel retelling where like Rapunzel, it's like a rom-com, I believe, or a romance. She's in college, that type of deal. It's literally a Rapunzel retelling, or Tangled retelling, as it's called, Tangled Up in You. The reason why I bought it, because Rapunzel's my favorite princess, and I love Tangled. It's my favorite movie, Disney princess movie, so I have to read it. And I've read a Christina Lauren book last year. I read The Unhoneymooners, and I really enjoyed it. So I feel like I'd enjoy this because I liked their writing. And maybe this will open up more books to read by them. Such as, oh, what's the one that like everyone's read by Christina Lauren? Love in Other Words. I would love to read that, and I know my friend has it, so I'd love to borrow it from her and read it. So Tangled Up in You, mostly because it's a Rapunzel retelling and it's from last year and it's been on my shelf for a year now, more than a year. I need to read it. Alright, the next few books are books that I do not currently own, which typically I like to read books that are on my shelves or prioritize those ones, but these are some books that would help me complete series or that I'm really interested in because they're by authors I really enjoy, and I just don't own them quite yet. So the first one being Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This is book number 3 in the Hunger Games trilogy. I have been loving the trilogy so far. Right now I'm reading Catching Fire, and I would just like to read the whole Hunger Games, all of it, you know, Song of Ballad Snakes, whatever it is, Sunrise on the Reaping, those ones, the newer ones I need to read. I'm probably gonna get hate that I'm saying all of that wrong, but I would love to read the newer Hunger Games books because I'm pretty sure those are technically before this trilogy, but I wanted to read the older series first before getting into the newer series. But I would love to read Mockingjay just to finish up Hunger Games and continue with the pre-Hunger Games trilogy stuff. Yeah, so Mockingjay is book number 13. Book number 14 and 15 are by the same author, but I really enjoy his writing, and that is Frederick Bachman. So I'm going to put both books up. Both books that I would love to read by him is Beartown and My Friends. Now, My Friends came out last year, and I would love to read since it's a newer release. But Beartown has been out for a while and is a series that has been talked about a lot, I feel like, by many booktubers I've watched. And it is I want to say a 3-book series, I want to say. Yeah, because I think it's like Beartown, Winners, You and I, or something like that. I could be wrong. But I would love to read that series. It seems like it is a really highly rated series by him, and I know a lot of people enjoy it when they read it. And then My Friends, I would love to read because it's a newer release for him, and I love his writing, and I haven't heard too much about My Friends, like how it ranks between all his other pieces of work, so I wouldn't mind seeing how it is similar and different to his older pieces of work, like A Man Called Ove or Anxious People, which is like one of my favorites by him. So those are 2 books. That's 14 and 15 on my list for 2026. Number 26 is The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. This is book number 3 in the Vancouver Storm series. I recently read The Fake Out. I had to go and look real quick, which is book number 2, and I'd love to continue on this series. If you love hockey romance with banter and just like rom-com-y type feel, you will probably love this. It is very banter heavy, but it's super fun and it's such an easy read. I would love to read The Wingman. I know Gloves Off is the next book after that, which I think comes out next year if I'm not mistaken. So I'd like to, you know, get caught up again with this series as well. This is my problem. I read too many series and then I'm like, ooh, I have so many books to read. So maybe that's an idea for 2026, is like reading books or catching up on series I should do. So yes, I would love to read The Wingman, book number 3 in the Vancouver Storm series. I highly recommend, and I need to read it before Gloves Off comes out. So that's another book. How many times have I said that? Like, I have to read this before the next book comes out because there's so many coming out that I need to catch up on. So book 17 is a very hyped book right now, and I would love to read it. It does sound interesting, and I like want to join the hype before it dies down, and that is Alchemized by Sen Lin Yu, which I believe is a debut author. Could I be wrong about that? I'm not sure, but I have been seeing this book everywhere. YouTube, Book Talk, Instagram. I just can't get away from it, and it just sounds so good, and I want to read it. I'm like feeling a little FOMO because I have not read it, so I need to read it next year. That's the goal, is to read it next year. Hopefully like I could borrow it before purchasing it at my library or something like that. But I've heard lots of good things about this book. I feel a little left out that I'm not reading it right now, so I put it on this list so I can read it next year. Book number 18 is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. Now, when this book first came out, I wasn't really interested in reading it, to be honest, but I found out it's book number 2 in this little series Every Summer After started, apparently. I didn't know until I was like, huh, that sounds like the book I read this summer, which obviously, because I think it's about the brother from this book, so and I think her sister, something like that, where I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't know, but I didn't know it was part of that, so I wasn't really interested in it until I realized it was, and then I was like, oh, well, I should read it, because I loved Every Summer After. I thought it was a great book. A lot of people don't like it, but I thought it was good. It was sweet, definitely like heartwarming and a little bit emotional, but like cute romance, all of that. Time jump type thing, like past and present timelines. I loved it. I thought it was a great book, so I would love to read more from those characters, especially if it were going into the brother or the sister. I'm not sure whose story we're going into, or maybe it's both, but it's be cool to see another perspective of some characters that we met in the first book and now they're in this book. So One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune is book number 18. And the last book that I do not own is book number 19, and that is The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is part of the Dreamland Billionaire series. I had to think about what it was. I've read the first 2 books. I just need to finish this trilogy by reading this last book, but I know it's a thicker book, so that's why it kind of puts me off. Big books put me off, apparently, but I just want to read it so I can finish the trilogy. I do have book number 3 in the Dirty Air series, but I'm not sure if I really want to read that series next, or if I want to do her newer series, like the Love Redesigned series. I don't know. I like Lauren Asher's books. I mean, the fine print and terms and conditions were fine. Nothing spectacular from what I remember. But I just really need to read the last and final book, just so I can be like, yes, I completed a series this year. So that is on my 26 for 2026. Because I need to complete at least one series. Alright, we are on book 20. Now all books after this are books that I have that are on my shelves, and I always prioritize those to get read before going out and buying or borrowing books. So 20 is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, which I have right behind this little Hachi Poo Poo. I have the whole box set of Percy Jackson, and I would love to read the series this year. Since getting into Hunger Games, I've been like going back and like reading older young adult books or just like teen books that were popular. Like Twilight I read recently, Hunger Games I read recently, so I feel like now that I'm an adult, I'm like, maybe I should go back and read those books and see why were they popular when they were popular. So Percy Jackson is one I have not read, and I love Greek mythology, so which is kind of weird that I've never read that series, but I have the whole box set. I would love to read The Lightning Thief. and I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I need to read it. Book number 21 is If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura. Hopefully I said that correctly and I didn't sound dumb. This was a Barnes & Noble like $5 book. If you bought something at Barnes & Noble, you got the book or something like that, or the book was like $5. And it really interests me, not because there's a cute cat on the cover, but it's like asking like really philosophical questions of like, what if this happened? Like, how would it change your life type deal? And I have a feeling I need to read it. And it's a short book. It's a pretty short book, and I feel that I have to read it because I got it at Barnes & Noble. I don't know. I feel like I should read it. I feel like it also is gonna make me cry because I'm pretty sure it's about like a man who is like thinking about his life, who's like on his deathbed. But I could totally be wrong. I know he works at the post office or something with the post office. That was another reason why I picked it up. Because, fun fact, I have like lots of my family members work at the post office, so I don't know. I need to read it. It has a cute cat on it. It's short. Should be easy to read, but it also could probably break me and make me cry, so who knows. The next book I have is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have this on my Kindle app for Prime Reading, and I've had it for a while on my Prime Reading that I'm like, I really should read this because I've heard nothing but good things by R.F. Kuang. I know she's just had a new book come out, Catabasis, that just came out. She has, what other books does she have? She has Babel as well. But The Poppy War is a series, which, do I need to start another series? Probably not, but I would love to get into her work and see what she's all about. I've heard nothing but good things about her, and her books are very highly rated, so I wouldn't mind reading The Poppy War or any other book by her, to be honest. I just said The Poppy War because I have it on the Kindle app, so I wouldn't have to go and get a book because I already have it. So that is something I would like to read. That has been interesting me lately, so hopefully it gets read in the early months of 2026. Book number 23 is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. Now, I actually have this book literally right next to me because it's in the stack of books that I have right here, and she is the same author as Cinder, which I read this year, The Lunar Chronicles, and it is a fun series, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I could read a whole series of it because I just read Cinder. But this, I believe, they are superheroes, basically. Yes. Humans with extraordinary abilities or powers. She wants vengeance, he wants justice. Nova has a reason to hate the renegades, and she is on a mission for vengeance. As she gets closer to her target, she meets Adrian, a renegade boy who believes in justice, and in Nova, but Nova's allegiance is to a villain who has the power to end them both. Interesting. So, this is like superheroes. It sounded interesting. I don't know if I just want to try something else from Marissa Meyer because I don't think I'm going to continue the Cinder series or like the Lunar Chronicle series because that's like a sci-fi fairy tale retelling. I'm going to try this, and then if I don't like this, I want to try Heartless, which is like a, what is it, Queen of Hearts retelling. So we have options for her, but I have this book by her, and I've heard this is pretty good, and I'm pretty sure this is also a series. So we're just starting more series this year. Woohoo! So excited. Speaking of series, book number 24 is a book with a lot of books in its series, and that is Shatter Me by Tara Mafi. I don't know why, ever since I found Shatter Me, which is right here behind me, I found it at Goodwill. Ever since I found it, I've been intrigued and interested to read it. I never thought I would want to read it before because I know it was a popular book talk book, you know, when book talk was at its peak. And I had no interest of reading it then, but all of a sudden I find it at a thrift store and I'm like, I really want to read it. I really want to read it. I should read it. I should read it. So I put it on this list, so hopefully I read it next year. And I know there's a lot of books in that series, but I don't know if there's like these books are canon. Is that the word for it? Like, these are the books of the actual story, while these are just subplots of characters from this book. I don't know. Seems like there's a lot. I don't know the whole thing about Shatter Me. Maybe the first book's the only good book and the rest are trash. Who knows? But I want to read it. Book number 25 is The Maidens by Alex McLeodies. I have that also right here on my shelf. I have not read any Alex McLeodies books, but I know he was a popular author. I'm not sure if he still qualifies as popular author anymore. I think his recent release was The Fury, but I got this at Books A Million while on vacation 2 years ago now, so I really need to read it. I just want to read it just to see if I like it. I know also this one is like, I think it's Greek mythology. Greek mythology. I have a lot of books on here about Greek mythology this year, so I don't know what that tells you. I'm on like a hyper fixation about Greek mythology. Speaking of Greek mythology, just like an honorable mention, I really want to read Lore Olympus. It's like a graphic novel series type thing. I want to read that since we're on the topic of Greek mythology. That's another series I would love to read, but I always forget exists, so I never do. That's an honorable mention. That's not on my list, but it's like, it was on my list last year and I haven't started it or done anything about it, so that's a series I would like to read. Anyways, The Maidens by Alex McLeodies. I know he was very, very popular with The Silent Patient. I haven't read any of his books. I thought maybe this one as like a psychological thriller type book that I would like to read sometime next year, unless I get another one, or even like reading some of these that are here. But priority, I would say this, just because I've had it for a while, so I would like to read it and see if I like his writing. And the last and final book of my 26 books I would like to read in 2026 is Mirror Mirror by Gregory Maguire. Now this is the same author as Wicked, which unfortunately I do not have the book Wicked by him. I'm so sad. This I have because I thrifted it or something. I think I thrifted it. Found it at the thrift store, or it was on clearance at Half Price Books. So I was like, I kind of want to read it. And he kind of writes like twists to fairy tales. Obviously, if you read Wicked, it's like a retelling of the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz. While Mirror Mirror is, I believe, Snow White. Am I right? I believe it's Snow White. I think it's Snow White. But it's a retelling of Snow White. I also have a few other books by him. Confessions of a Stepsister, which I believe is Cinderella, and then Lost. Okay, Lost is a little weird. I'm seeing a little bit of a couple reviews and stuff about it, but it looks like Lost is a mix of like Alice in Wonderland with Peter Pan and Scrooge and Jack the Ripper. It's a little mix of everything. I'm not sure. That's what I got from that, because I see Jack the Ripper, I see Ebenezer Scrooge. I don't know what Lost is. It just says, with the dark overtones echoing from A Christmas Carol, Lost presents a rich fictional world that will enrapture Gregory Maguire's eager audience. I don't know what any of that means, but I have Mirror Mirror because I figured out of the 3 that I own by that author, I think Mirror Mirror would be a good place to start. Or not. Who knows? And I really wish I had Wicked, because I would have done that, but I don't. So Mirror Mirror is what came on here. And like I said, I have a couple books by this author. I would like to read one, see if I actually like him. And if I don't, you know, make some more space for books that I actually like on my shelves. So that's the last and final book for my 26 books in 2026. Those are all 26 books I would love to read in 2026. Now, again, I don't think I'm gonna read every single book on this list, but I am going to try to prioritize these books more when setting up TBRs for next year, or keeping them in mind for sure. But again, when I looked back at my list for 25 books in 2025, some of the books I was like, why didn't I put that on my list? I don't think I would ever want to read that. So like, my reading taste might change as the year goes on, and I might look at this list and think, why did I put this on my list? I would never want to read this. So I'm gonna prioritize the best I can when setting up my TBRs by using this list, and hoping to get some of these books read next year. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and also make sure you subscribe. I post videos once a week, whether it's bookish content like this, lifestyle, or vlogs, kind of whatever I'm in the mood for. So if you like what you're seeing, you should go ahead and subscribe. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye!